What's going on, guys? Yeah, okay. This not gonna lie, this is my third attempt at recording this. I was having some technical difficulties regarding like my screen. I kept on recording the wrong freaking screen on my desktop, but whatever. All right, so I was hoping to get this information to you earlier, but I noticed a bear flag within a ascending broadening wedge channel. um, yeah, as you can see right here. So for the past, I think for the past couple of days, I was kind of going off of this like really wonky rising wedge and stuff like that. And to be honest, like I was trying to make it work from the top side's perspective, but it just wasn't really conducive. And now that the development of this price action is more mature, it's more definitive of a ascending broadening wedge pattern as opposed to a rising wedge. Now, it wasn't necessarily fully wrong. The bottom side was actually pretty, how do you say? It was pretty pivotal, literally. Yeah, that's the word I wanted to use, pivotal. Because if you zone in here and you just go from just the bottom parts of there you go. If you just go to the bottom part of that old rising wedge channel, rising wedge, I'm sorry, uh, you'll if you zone in on the hourly, when price broke down of this little mini rising wedge, there was kind of like a dead cat bounce, kind of consolidated for a little while, and then when it officially broke again, it was a parabolic move to the downside. So there is some significance to this particular line, but I wouldn't consider it like a baseline. I would more so actually consider this a heart line, if you will, within a ascending broadening wedge. Um, so it does have some significance. I do see this as future resistance in the future. But what's really pivotal is these horizontal lines. I prefer horizontal lines any day of the week versus slanted lines. So as crazy and wonky as these charts look at times with all of these like slanted lines and all that kind of stuff, really the most important lines are the horizontal lines and the exponential moving averages. But I like to keep, there is there is some significance to these slanted lines, as you can see right here. So, there is some importance to them. But there is a hierarchy of importance here. So it's horizontals, then exponential moving averages, then slanted lines. But anyway, okay, so we are nearing a hourly close confirmation outside of this you can call it mini rising wedge, or you can even call it a bear flag. So if you do a measured move off of this bear flag, it's actually kind of quite scary in terms of how aligned it is with like other aspects of support and resistance here. So if this is a true breakout of a bear flag, we are looking at a candle close um, uh, resolution around the 21.6, 21.5 range. Now, that's interesting to me because um, it would break below this ascending broadening wedge. It would break below 22.5. Now, why is 22.5 significant? So let me go to the daily chart to actually show you. So back here, we had, after this massive epic carnage dump here, we saw some initial fight from the bulls here. And as you can see, multiple candle closes were trying to make this a thing. Basically, it was on the 15th of June, we saw a bullish candle close up here. So this was official resistance. So now it is acting as a form of support. So we have an hour left on the daily candle to confirm a bounce off of this particular zone. So that's interesting to me because if that is the case, is this bear flag going to underperform? Because daily support and resistances have greater onus versus intraday patterns, so to speak. So um, that's where we're kind of seeing some bipolar nature in regards to what the chart's telling us. But I do ultimately like um, what I'm seeing overall. So we did have this channel break to the upside, and right where the 100 EMA is, as it stands, this 1 hour, even though it's bearish engulfing, we are seeing some bulls keep price above the 9 EMA. So is this a true bull flag? That's what I'm questioning at this time. And if it does break out, will it have the chops to actually break through this broadening descending wedge? Because the implication is that not only is it breaking a daily support at 22.5, but it's breaking back down here at 21.6, 21.5. Why is that pivotal? So let me go back to the daily. So I've been talking about this for weeks now, about this ascending triangle, which actually broke to the upside. Um, yeah, we never really we could backtest this again. We did backtest it actually on the next day, ever so slightly, and then we just ripped to the upside. But if in fact it goes back and attempts to test it again, I mean that would actually, create some structure, some pretty strong structure. Um, but that is to be determined if it's going to hold, frankly. It could break below, so um, but not gonna lie, I would see 21.6 as a pretty strong reaction zone where we get at least a dead cat bounce to this up top side at like 2.4% at the very least. Now, obviously, I'm talking future talk and stuff, but yeah, like at the end of the day, from an intraday perspective, we still have this ascending broadening wedge to deal with. We still have, uh, we got to see if this is a true bear flag. So what I want to see off of this next hourly candle is a candle close that tags the top side of this. Um, I would argue now that it's resistance, and this is resistance as well. I want to see rejections off of this and ultimately continuation to the downside. Now, as you can see, the exponential moving averages have turned red. So from my perspective, the bears are in control, and the indicators will tell you the same actually, because now we have this attempt at a bearish trigger wave on the 1 hour. So if I zoom out here, it makes a little bit more sense on the 37-minute, which is it's a Fibonacci precursor to the 1 hour. I love the 37-minute because it front runs the 1 hour. But as you can see, the momentum on the 37-minute, it's actually coming down. Um, and if you can see, negative money flow is actually expanding. So that's something to take in consideration. Now, it's not a definitive cross, but yes, we are experiencing some resistance here. So I'm not too sure if I said it on this particular video or not, because I have done this maybe like twice already. But on the TSI on the 1 hour, I like to keep my eye on resistance points. So how do you measure resistance points? You get the top side of the fast moving average, the tip top, and then you find the base of the lower high from the slow moving average, which is right here. Okay, so what I'm curious about is, or are we going to get a flat rejection and move to the downside, or will this actually hold as support, like this line right here, this line in the sand? Frankly, in my opinion, we tagged the top side twice on the 1 hour, and we crossed the 25 on the downside. So I'm leaning a little bit more bearish, frankly. I wouldn't open up a fresh long at this point. I like opening my long positions here, like in these particular zones. There you go. Like I like opening longs here because these are just safer, easier zones to keep track of. It's momentum. It's at the bare bottom. If you find a divergence, boom, you're off to the races. Now, conversely, I like opening up shorts when, I see price above, like the overbought territory, because people are buying these things at a premium, and it's just not conducive to overall quality strategy. Um, Now, money flow on the 1 hour is still green. It's still thick in the green, but as you can see, we are seeing a waning of momentum. So that's why I'm not necessarily confident that this momentum can continue, given that we also are getting closer to the weekend where people like to, close out their positions. Institutional traders like to close out their positions during the weekend because they also know that the order books are thin. Um, so they don't want to put their capital at risk, so they just close out their positions and then have their cash on the side, and then let the degens kind of play it out during the weekend. Um, but yeah, from a 24-minute standpoint, we have confirmed a cross. The 24-minute chart is actually a precursor to the 4 hour, actually. Fun fact. And money flow is still in the reds, and momentum's heading to the downside with a Heikin-Ashi candle, flat top, which is an indication of strong momentum to the downside. Also, the parabolic SAR is heading to the downside, so I'm feeling a little bit more confident as a bear. Alrighty, so we did get this line of support right here, but is that a dead cat bounce? Not gonna lie, I would much rather see on the if you're trading on the 1 hour, not financial advice, but like if you're trading on the 1 hour, I would like to see a candle close below the 9 EMA again before I even consider doing anything. Um, in these particular time frames, we'll definitely see some consolidation and then resolution. Um, that's kind of like how it is. So these moves do take some time to develop. I mean, it could take 4 hours, it could take 5 hours, or whatever. But at the end of the day, as long as price can't print above basically 24.2, then we're heading to the downside at this time. Um, and also, I mean, this bear flag looks pretty clear cut, not gonna lie. So I'm kind of expecting prices to eventually hit below here, and then we'll kind of see where things go. Because not gonna lie, if it does play out the way that I think it's gonna play out, this could actually be a freaking huge um, head and shoulders pattern, which is super bearish. So I'm keeping my eyes on that as well. But I mean, that is just too early to even talk that kind of crazy stuff. So um, right now, I feel like we have topped in the weekend. I mean, I feel like we have topped for the week. And I do feel like there will be some consolidation above here because honestly, this 22.5 mark is it's a significant daily um, price. There is significance to this price action. As you can see, there was a wick to this particular zone here. It's got back tested as support right now, but um, given where resistance is right here, we have a resistance line right here. We are closer to resistance than we are to true support. Because if you look back, my support resistance indicator has always popped up new support or strong support, which was right here. Ah, crap. And then right here. And most recently, right here. And it started on the 12th of July. So I would much rather see a support line. I'd rather long near a support line than right here. This is very risky if you were to just to open up a fresh long at this time, frankly. And like I said before, you're more closer to resistance than you are to support. So, and also the EMAs are really testing well, but essentially, yeah, they're just getting tested as at this time. So it's not wise to open up fresh longs, especially if you're doing swings. This is if you're doing a long, like you're gonna have more success as a scalper. But even then on the 15, like you see there's like resistance here. Yes, the EMAs have turned bullish, but as you can see, price is struggling to get above the 9 EMA. So yeah, hence why I'm more bearish than I am bullish at this time. And I'm thinking as time goes on that we'll see more of that on the hourly. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna leave it like that. I'm pretty tired. I had a long day today. It was a weird day, not gonna lie. Um, so I'm just gonna kind of leave it at that. I know I usually do like the daily and the 4 hour and stuff like that, but I just can't really muster the strength to do that today. Let me see. I guess in closing on the 4 hour, yeah, as long as price is below 23.3, so that would be here. So if you see a 4 hour candle, uh, let me see here. Where? There you go. Let me type it out. Alright, so it's what, 23,327, basically above this wick. Yeah. So as long as price is below the wick top of this recent 4 hour, you can't be bullish. An interesting situation that's kind of happening, not gonna lie, on the 4 hour, is the RSI. It is crossing down, but if you also notice on the 4 hour here, the 9 is still holding. So that's kind of interesting. I want to see if in fact this loses out here. I would need to see 22.638 to kind of fail in order to really open up a short, not gonna lie, because this is a bullish engulfing candle. Yeah. Well, anyway, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you think my TA is full of shit, let me know. If you like my stuff, you let me know. Just comment in the description below, and yeah, I'll get back to you. But anyway, have a great rest of the day, and take care. Bye-bye.